I am Confucius. I lived in China in the 5th century, before your common era, during a time of fractured states and failing authority. I was not a ruler. I did not command armies or issue decrees. I was a teacher, an advisor who moved from court to court, invited when leaders sensed that their counsels were no longer producing wisdom, only noise. What I observed was always the same. Intelligent people gathered with power, experience, and intention. And yet their meetings collapsed, not because ideas were lacking, but because no one knew how to hold the room long enough for judgment to form. People spoke too quickly. Rank went unmanaged. Disagreement arrived without preparation. Dignity was lost, and with it, the willingness to think. I did not write a book of rules. What you now call the Analects was gathered later by students who remembered how rooms changed when they were guided differently. They recorded exchanges, corrections, and moments. Not because I asked them to, but because they saw something working and wished to preserve how it was done. From this, I learned that facilitation, the craft of guiding how people think together, is the most underestimated skill wherever people gather. When it works, it is invisible. People praise chemistry, charisma, or luck. When it fails, they blame the participants. This is a mistake. The room behaves according to how it is held. In the gatherings I advised, we never began with content. We began with dignity. Rank was acknowledged, so it would not dominate. Senior voices spoke early to steady the room, then withdrew, so others could enter without fear. Questions of value came before questions of strategy. Concerns were voiced before proposals. Disagreement was invited, but it was slowed, not sharpened, so people could revise their thinking without humiliation. Even the physical arrangement mattered. Seating reflected relationships, not power. Interruptions were rare, not because they were forbidden, but because the rhythm of the room made them unnecessary. Silence was not awkward. It was a signal that the group was thinking together. This method applies wherever people gather. In commerce, you ask people to commit money before they fully understand value. In culture, you ask for alignment before meaning has settled. In social life, you ask for intimacy before safety exists. Each time, the order is reversed and trust weakens. People still commit, but they do so defensively. Certainty becomes armor. You call this facilitation. I would call it responsibility. A facilitator's task is not to entertain a room or manufacture momentum, but to regulate it, to know when to advance, when to pause, and when the group is not yet ready to decide. Remember this: every gathering asks people to cross a threshold, to buy, to believe, to belong, or to decide. Facilitation exists to ensure that threshold is crossed with understanding intact. When this craft is practiced well, gatherings stop performing and begin producing. When it is ignored, even the best intentions collapse into noise.